beautiful friends. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. I'm really excited to be doing this reading with all of you. I'm so glad that you joined me, and welcome to all of the new viewers. If this is the first time you're joining me, my name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer, and I deliver messages through the cards that help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So in today's reading, I am looking at the vibe that you give off. So keep in mind, this is going to be a mix of different messages. Obviously, there's going to be positive things, but there might be some messages that come forward that you don't agree with. I'm going to get into the details of those and unpack where that energy might be coming from, but just keep in mind that people might have opinions of you that are not factual at all. So this is really about other people's opinions and their perspectives on who you are and what you're doing in your life. So you've got 3 piles to select from. Pile number 1 has the sticker with this sort of like forest mushroom scene, as well as the pyrite crystal and this little acorn that one of my dogs insisted on bringing home after the walk today. And then pile number 2, there's these cute little cluster of mushrooms, the green aventurine crystal, and then this mushroom made of clear quartz. And pile number 3, actually, you're missing one of the pieces of your pile. Pile number 3, you have the heart-shaped sticker that says, love yourself, and the bead that's made of amber, and then this little white flower that I picked from my garden this morning. So I'm going to give you a second to tune into the pile that speaks to you most, and I will see you at your reading. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome back. I'm really excited to do this reading for you. I'm really glad that you joined me today, and welcome to all of the new viewers. So in today's reading, I am looking at the vibe that you give off. So there's going to be a lot of different messages that come forward. Some of them you're totally going to agree with. You're going to recognize those qualities within yourself. Some of these things might be things you totally disagree with. That's totally okay. Either the message is for someone else, because keep in mind a lot of other people are watching these readings, or the person has a perception of you that is not accurate, and that's totally normal as well. Everyone can have their opinions skewed by their own feelings about self or other things that are going on. So if any of those kinds of messages come forward, I'll try and dive a little bit deeper into it and see where that energy is coming from. But if you do want to have a reading where all of the messages are specifically for you, everything really fits you and your lived experience, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can book a session with me. That's the very best way to get the most accurate reading. So you selected the pile with the black and white sticker that has this sort of forest mushroom scene, the pyrite crystal, as well as this little acorn. So this is our starting point. These are the first messages that are coming forward. So first of all, you are seen as a person who is very abundant and also very practical. You, especially when it comes to your work, or if you're trying to accomplish a goal, you don't get distracted by all the minutia of a situation. Like, you're aware that there might be nuance to things, but you're really looking at the major like points of the argument, or like the most important aspects of what you're trying to achieve. Like, what are the black and white, elements of this situation, so that you can come to a conclusion. Because with most situations, there's all kinds of different perspectives. And if you consider every single perspective and every single pathway, you are going to delay your progress. And you know that, time is of the essence, is the sense that I get. And, it's better for you to just make a decision and move ahead than stall and someone else beats you to market, is the sense that I get. But you also have a lot of ideas. Like, you're coming to the table with seeds to plant, and you might not have it all worked out. And this is a real entrepreneurial energy. Like, you might run your own business, or you want to work for a startup, or you have a lot of ideas of things that you're going to want to do as side hustles. There's just like this sense of you knowing you might not have it all figured out. You'll figure it out as you go. You'll take on advice and information as it comes to you, but you're not going to get lost in all of the details. And you're going to plant seeds, continually moving ahead, knowing that by the time you need those resources, or you need to harvest the crop, it will be ready, and you'll have planted more seeds for the future by that point. You're not sitting there waiting for things to grow. You're just continually planting, which is excellent. That is fantastic. People are really seeing that. You're going to do something. That's their perception of you. And the pyrite, this is really interesting. So this is a crystal that is specifically known for being protective. So you really know how to protect your energy and your resources. You might be able to convince people that you have the goods, even if you don't have any of the resources or the credentials. You can talk your way into a powerful position in a company because you are good at marketing yourself. Pyrite is also known as fool's gold. So there's this sense of you really being able to sell yourself. Again, it's that strong entrepreneurial energy. That is excellent. Okay, let's get into the cards. So to start off with, Gorilla, take the time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. So you're seen as someone who has good relationships with your family. That might be biological family. That might also be chosen family. You are a really good listener. That probably also really helps you with this marketing energy that's coming forward. People who really listen are able to figure out how to meet someone's needs. So it's excellent when it comes to business. There is this sense of you having this larger than life energy, even your physical presence in a way is intimidating. The gorilla, you don't have to actually be aggressive to command attention, is the sense that I get. Forgiveness. You're a very forgiving person. There have been situations in your life where you have been wronged, and you have, been the bigger person, is the sense I get. Now, there might have also been situations where you learned from your mistakes and you grew empathy, and you learned to listen to people and go with the flow, and people were willing and ready to forgive you. There is that sense with some of this energy. You might have what's repeating to me over and over and over again, and I was sort of reluctant to say it because it's so cliche, but it's move fast and break things. So there's this sense of you, that acorn doesn't want to sit the way I want it to. There we go. So you might have sort of moved quickly towards your goals and sort of hurt people along the way, or you sort of stepped on toes, but they're willing to forgive you for that because they really believe in what you're creating, or they really believe that you can accomplish your goals, and they know that your heart was in the right place. You weren't trying to hurt anyone. The puppeteer, explanations and apologies. Interesting that apologies and forgiveness. Yeah, you have learned over the course of your life how to pull the strings to be able to get what you want. I think that at times maybe there have been people that have perceived this in a negative light. They might have felt like you had misled them to a certain degree. That is not necessarily true, though. Like, they might have had certain expectations of what you were going to do for them, and you were looking at the situation and you really wanted to focus on your goals. So you may have done things, like I said before, that sort of like felt like you slighted them, like you maybe there's this, I'm keep getting images of like racers, like someone pulling in front of another car in a on a racetrack, or runners running on a track, and the one runner pulls ahead of the other in the final stretch of the race. There's a sense of some people maybe even sending you evil eye because of jealousy. And they might spin this whole narrative in their head about how you took something from them, you took an idea from them, you took resources or energy. But really, I think that you were just using your skills and being very perceptive of opportunities and not getting lost in all of this minutia. And you moved ahead and you won. I think in other situations, people have possibly been angry with you until you went up to them and explained yourself and apologized. That your main focus, like the reason you were doing something, was to achieve a particular goal. You weren't doing it to step on anyone's toes, and they forgive you and they understand. Next question. Weird. That's weird. I never see any of those slip ups as being accidental. So you might have been a person who was willing to open up and answer questions for people. This might also be for some of you where you're in the public eye, you're in the spotlight. Maybe you've done something in your personal life or on your platform or in business where you made a mistake. Like companies do this. They'll implement policies and not realize, like, oh, now we're adding all of this work to our employees. We didn't realize that implementing this new standard was going to cause all of this upheaval. And you would be the kind of boss to come into that situation and have like an open house where you're going to sit down with, like, on Zoom with all of the employees and allow them to ask you questions, and you're going to answer everything, or you're like going to be issuing a public apology, or you're going to go on a TikTok live, or like you're just willing to answer the questions even if it's uncomfortable for you. You don't have anything to hide. Next, you've got bare bones, stripped down to essentials. What's hidden is revealed. Structure brings stability, strong foundation. Yeah, you're like honest and raw. People feel like you are willing to really like show yourself and you stand by what you believe in. But there's this sense also that you're willing to just strip everything down to the bare bones. Again, I just keep going back to business. Like, if there are extra expenses that are being spent on things that are not going to give you a return on investment, you're going to get rid of it. Like, this is like a complete willingness to rip apart anything that isn't working so you can have that strong, solid foundation. And that also means that if there are people in your life that are taking away from you, that are depleting you, that are asking too much of you, that are trying to throw you off course or not supporting your journey, you might walk away from them. 101, starting over, intelligence, dynamics, making a difference, failures, personal or spiritual development. Happiness is linked to self-expression, growth, and experience. Learning from failure is key. Happiness is real, possible, and around. Understand its process and the pursuit of it. Joy is fluid. It's in the little things and the big ones. Fails are fun, start fresh. Again, this like entrepreneurial energy. You know that nothing like is gained unless you're willing to experience discomfort or a loss. You are totally okay with starting over. So you might have walked out on relationships that you had had over a really long period of time because you just felt like it wasn't the right environment for you to grow, or you just didn't feel the same way as you once did. You are pursuing your personal development. There is this strong Gemini energy that's coming from you. This strong ability to be able to reinvent yourself, and that you feel like you're the key to your own happiness. And you are like really focusing on pursuing the things that you want, and knowing that, looking at things from the perspective of optimism is going to give you, like, overall the best outcome. One, it'll help you to manifest things. Two, it also helps you to feel joyful on a daily basis. Like, you can choose to look at a situation that didn't work out for you as a learning experience. You know that that's not the right pathway, so now you're going to learn from that and you're going to go in another direction. That you actually have fun doing that. If you're not an entrepreneur, I think that that's in the cards for you in the future, 100%. It's either you're the boss, it's your business, or you're working for a company that has that kind of culture where it's like constantly reinventing, constantly looking for improvement. There is this strong sense of technology that's coming from this. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if you were working in, like, the tech space. Maybe you're working with AI, maybe you're working for, something that's, hasn't quite reached the market yet. Awareness. Yeah, you love to learn. You definitely come across to people like someone who is strongly aware of what's going on around them, certain trends. You're aware of what other people want from you as well. You seem to have a sixth sense about things. You seem to be able to read people. Again, strong Mercury placements for you. There is this sense of, and Scorpio. There's some strong water Scorpio energy coming through here. That's where things might feel a little bit dicey for some people, because some people are not comfortable around Scorpio energy because it can feel like it's deceptive to certain people. So you know how to read people, you know how to analyze what they want, you listen to what they're saying, and then you use that information to take steps to get to your goal. So some people might feel like they don't feel as comfortable around you because they aren't necessarily comfortable with being perceived. And that's really a them issue. It's not a you issue. This is your awareness of what's going on, and sort of keeping your cards close to your chest is what I'm getting. Until you're sort of like completely certain of how things are unfolding, and then revealing what direction you're going in. You've already, it's like you've placed your bet, but you're not going to let everyone else know that you have this insider information, and you know that this is going to be a payoff for you, which is very smart. Private relationships. Yes, you're very private about things. You're not going to let people know all of your business. You're also aware that public perception can really shape, opportunities for you. You don't want your employer to know all of the nitty-gritty details of your romantic life or any of the other things that have gone on in your life. You probably don't even talk about your romantic relationships, especially if you have some sort of presence, you have like a high profile, you're not telling people what's going on with you. It's difficult for me to process my emotions. I am not available right now. Some people feel like you're a little distant, that sometimes maybe you can be a little cold, that you don't really open up to them. When you're dealing with something difficult, you just completely withdraw and you don't allow them in. I feel abandoned by you and it's triggering my childhood traumas. Be mindful of this. You might attract some people into your life that might be like there's Cancer energy coming forward, Pisces, strong water placements. You might be drawing in, and some Earth as well. Even Virgo is coming forward. So you might draw people into your life that really want you to choose them or to build something with them because they see you as providing stability. You're drawing in creative types that have strong emotions, but they still might have some codependency issues where they feel like you might feel suffocated by their energy to a certain degree, and you withdraw because you like to process things on your own, and they end up feeling very wounded. And this is where maybe some of this forgiveness, apology energy is coming from. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you, years after the fact, you run into someone and you have like sort of that closure that never happened when the relationship was ending, maybe with friends, maybe with family as well, where it's like you're finally able to say, you know, I just wasn't able to open up because this is how I process things, and they're able to see that, you know, it wasn't that you were rejecting them, it's just that you felt overwhelmed. Confrontation, interesting. So some people might find you confrontational, that you might be assertive to the point where they feel like you're being aggressive. That doesn't mean you are. It just means that they're perceiving it that way. You might be very blunt with them. You might, when you do open up, there's no nuance to the information that you're providing. You're just giving them like the facts, and it's not sort of like sugar coated so that it's easier for them to swallow. You just are like completely upfront with what you're thinking or feeling, and it sort of hurts them. But you also, in terms of like business, or if you, even if like there might be something else that you're doing in your life where you're competing with other people, maybe this is a hobby that you have, like you're on a sports team, right? You play hockey or something. You are gonna go for the jugular. Like, you will put everything in to fight for what you want. You're not afraid to be confrontational. You might be a lawyer, you might be a police officer, you might be someone who, like, that's kind of part of the job, being confrontational. You're also willing to like point things out. You're not going to hold back. You will point out exactly what the issue is. The sense that I get, and I can totally relate to this, is that it takes a lot to get you angry. But when you go there, you're going there. Like, you know, if someone's trying to force you into showing your vulnerability and you've been trying to protect them from what you see, and they insist, you're not going to protect them forever. You're going to just lay it out. Now, the sense that I get is the people that want you to reveal what you're seeing don't really want those messages, and they might get quite upset at you and feel betrayed is what's coming forward. The next card you got is thief, robbed, lost, theft, physical or emotional. Yeah, they feel like you were, you know, not honest with them about who you are. They thought you were one way, that you had their best interests at heart. And of course you do. But I feel like to a certain degree, you were sort of forced into saying things that you didn't really want to have to reveal. In some cases, some people might have concocted like a future in their mind. Like, they had illusions about what their life with you is going to be, and then when it doesn't work out, they feel sort of robbed. But you are looking for the right fit, and in some cases they might be perceiving that you're looking for perfection. And then this thief card also talks about what I was mentioning before, where you might have just gotten ahead of the curve. Like you were competing with someone else and you weren't shy about taking whatever opportunity you could to get ahead. And if that means that you're sort of skirting the line of ethics, and this is their perception, right? You might not actually be doing that. You're not doing anything illegal, but you are going to take every advantage you can to win out, because ultimately that's the goal here. You're going to do it. Assets, yes. Your investments are growing quickly. If you haven't started investing yet, now is the right time. Your future promises long-term stability. Yeah, there's Capricorn energy coming forward now as well. You want to make a lot of money. You want to have a lot of assets. You want to be at the top of the professional pyramid, and you're going to do it. And you're not going to let anyone hold you back. And to be perfectly honest, that is the way the capitalism works, right? Like you cannot tell me that all of the people that are at the very top of this whole pyramid did everything by the book and they were ethical at all times. They weren't. We know that. So I'm not saying you're breaking the law, you're not doing anything like that, but you are gonna work your angles, is the sense I get. If you are in a room where you're making a deal with someone and that person finds you physically attractive, you're gonna flirt with them 100%. You might not be interested in them at all, and they sign the deal and then they feel robbed. Too bad, so sad. Like they who says that you have to actually like them? That was their vulnerability, right? Like if business is a poker game, like you're gonna keep your cards close to your chest, you're gonna look at what's going on and you're gonna make your moves, and it's working out for you. Writer, and the card says words are powerful, use them to manifest more abundance. Consider careers like blogger, content writer, or book author in creative writing. Your words have the power to influence and share your gifts with the world. Yes, you're an influential business person. You are good at marketing. You are good at winning people over. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was like a book that was published a long time ago, but it talks all about how to make people like you, right? And you inherently have that gift. The gift of the gab. You know how to talk to people, put them at ease, make them feel comfortable, reveal their secrets, tell you what they want, then you know how to deliver it. If you wanted to be an influencer, you'd be excellent at that. If you want to work the corporate ladder, you're going to be great at it. If you want to build worlds, you want to be a creative writer, excellent. You'd be able to, make $1 million doing that. Demanding. You set impossible standards for your partner to meet. Be less demanding. Okay, so you are a perfectionist. You know what you want, and I think that you hold yourself to the same standard, and sometimes that can be triggering for people. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes people have vulnerabilities or limitations that are not obvious, and they might be really struggling even though it doesn't seem like they are. It's important to take advantage of all of the opportunities available to you, but causing someone to really experience pain or suffering as a result can have some backlash, right? Like it can be something that comes back karmically. I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm just saying that there are some people that need a little bit of extra help that seem to be directly connected to you through love. So if you have a partner that is taking up more of the slack at home so that you can do what you're doing with business, this might be something that happens in the future for some of you as well. Then you might want to give them a break, right? Like you bring in someone to do the cleaning, or you invest in some time for them to just focus on the things that are meaningful for them, or to give them some time off. There's some reciprocity here that is needed. Okay, then mapping the way, explore love and unearth unexpected treasures. Yeah, you're an explorer. So you're looking at what does the future hold? Where are we going? It feels in the digital space for many of you, but I mean, some of you might be doing real estate development. You might be building worlds, like the creative writing example I gave, but you're definitely like a trailblazer. You're mapping the way. People see you as an innovator, someone who's really like able to like find opportunities where there wasn't any before, and this might be bringing you a lot of financial rewards as a result. And then finally, optimism. They see you as someone who is very optimistic about the future, that you seem to be able to open up doorways. And as you get older, I think you're going to be more connected. So you will be someone who others seek out for money, for knowledge, for access. So, you know, I think that you're going to be well skilled at how to handle that in the future. But the downside is I think that some people you won't be able to trust, because I think they will approach you for the wrong reasons. So let's get a couple final cards for you. Anything else that your guides would like you to know about how people perceive you or the vibe that you give off? What vibe does pile number 1 give off? What vibe does pile number 1 give off? Influence. See that card coming forward. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Pile number 1, congratulations on your life. So influence, like I was saying, like you're a very influential person. You're having an influence now is what I'm getting, but there still feels like there's a lot more for the future. You might be someone who really tempts people into things, and like if you wanted to have a career in marketing, you'd be very successful. There's that Mercury coming forward, and you might know how to really shake things up with Uranus. So you know, this shift where Uranus is now in Gemini, this might be an opportunity for you. There might be, old systems are going to be collapsing. I think everyone is kind of aware that that's happening. Old systems are collapsing. Look around. Where are the opportunities? You know, where are people going to have to start selling off assets? Jump in there and start buying them up. You know, where are people needing help and support? Is there a business opportunity that you could launch or that you could invest in? There's this sense of like really being able to help people when they are, you know, looking for guidance or knowledge, or they are trying to like build something when they really don't have a lot of assets. There's this sense of like the world is sort of your oyster. With the number 7, like you could connect with the ability to manifest money for yourself connected to almost any realm, right? Like the number 7 for me really makes me think of the 7 chakras, and each chakra is connected to a different part of our physical and spiritual experience. So you could do something in the digital space or something spiritual, or you could do something really material. You could like actually develop a product. There's a lot of opportunity there for you. But fortune and riches, like people see you as very rich. It probably also comes from like the energy that you physically give off. You might be Leo. So you might have like a very regal feel to you, that you dress in a really refined way. You have expensive taste. You might have really impressive hair. Leo often has like this gorgeous crown of hair. You might have a lot of like illumination. So you might have bright, sparkly eyes. You might have like glowing skin. There's this sense of like you having sort of like this excitement and exuberance about you as well, and like people want to watch you, people want to look at you, and you've had to fight, but you do not give off the energy that it was hard work. Like you keep that a secret. Going back to that privacy card, you really don't want people to see you sweat. You know how to like make sure that people only see the best of you. What else? Page of Rods. So you're talking about something that has to do with the future. You're like an early adopter. You're the first one to say that something is going to be trending or something is going on in like whatever you're a specialist in. Strength. Yeah, you will fight to the death to get what you want. You don't mind having to also go up against difficult people or personalities, and you've been able to calm your own emotions. Like this is a journey for you. Like I said, I do think that people can like eventually push you to the point where you snap and you will reveal all the things they don't want to hear. But for the most part, you're really able to keep your feelings under wraps. You don't even reveal a lot in micro expressions. And the Magician, you're a master manifester. Like your destiny is to have a lot of physical comfort. Like you will be able to have the money, the houses, the cars. At least this is the people's perception of you, right? Like take advantage of this, because I mean, honestly, if people are looking at you feeling that way, as long as you continue to build good relationships, you can use that energy to focus on the things that you want. You can use that energy to amplify what you're trying to create and manifest it much faster. So that concludes your reading, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated for you. Let me know what you thought. If anyone is interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can look at all of the different services I offer. So I do tarot card readings, but I do other things as well that are all related to spirituality. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome. I'm really excited to be doing this reading for you, and welcome to all of the new watchers. So this reading is all about the vibe that you give off. So like I said in the intro, some of these messages are going to click with you immediately. Some of them you might not connect with. Either that's a message for somebody else, or this person isn't really perceiving you accurately. They just have perceptions of you based on what's going on with them. So if there is a message that comes forward that you don't agree with, hopefully I'm going to give you some more insight into it so it clicks for you or it makes sense, or just disregard it because it's probably for somebody else. And if you do want to have a reading where all of the messages are meant for you, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can book a session with me, and I would be happy to give you this information, and all of the messages will be specifically for you and about you. Okay, so you guys selected this sticker with the adorable little grouping of mushrooms, as well as the green aventurine crystal and the mushroom made of clear quartz. So these are the first messages. So to start off with, people find you to be very joyful. There's something very unexpected, very playful. You're very in tune with your inner child. There might be certain hobbies or certain things that you really love that also connect back to your childhood. So examples, you might really love Polly Pocket, and that's sort of trending right now, and you might be, you know, like buying a Polly Pocket, or you bought the I think it was Essence that just did a release of makeup that all look like Polly Pockets. That's not available in Canada. I'm like coveting it, looking at it, but I think it's in the States. So you might have had a Labubu, like things like that. So people really find you to be sort of like whimsical, magical, creative, and like I said, unexpected. There might be a lot of like blessings or sort of like magic or synchronicity that sort of follows you around, and people might experience more of that when they're with you. Again, with the clear quartz mushrooms. So the mushroom is a symbol of magic and abundance and things sort of unexpectedly showing up. Clear quartz is known as a master healer crystal as well as an amplification stone. So people find that they have more good luck when they're around you. More opportunities seem to come to them. It sort of seems to follow you. So when you're in their life, really good things are happening. When you're out of their life, those opportunities seem to sort of dry up to a certain degree. People might also feel more healed around you. Like you really see them, you really hear them, you understand them, you have a lot of empathy. You have a big heart. You will be there for them. Like even if you probably make friends pretty easily. You probably have deep friendships pretty easily. There is this sense though for some of you that you make friends easily, but then people will turn on you just as quickly. It's like there's the before and after, so they might have sort of fantasies in their minds about who you are, and then when they get to know you and realize like that you're not, there's like downsides, their perception, right? That there's like things that you need from them as well. And there's like a price or there's something expected of them in the relationship, then they sort of sour on things. That's really sad. Yeah, it's really unfair. There's this like real like whimsical, I'll be honest, this feels like very neurodivergent energy. So some of you might have ADHD, or you might be on the spectrum. There's this real sense of like, you seem so whimsical and different and magical, and then, oh, there's all of the other aspects of your neurodivergence, and I don't want to have to make any accommodations for you, which seems so cruel to me. I'm neurodivergent, so I really understand this. So I'm just going to put these aside because I just got really sad there for a second, and we're just going to move on to the rest of the cards. Okay, so first, grouse. Express yourself through rhythm, movement, by drumming and dancing. So you might be a dancer, you might be a musician. There is this strong sense that you have a big presence. You might be someone who talks with your hands, you're very flamboyant. There might be some sort of like rhythm or dance to even your personal style. Like you're a maximalist, you like really have like a vibrancy to you. You might have a very melodic voice. You might have a beautiful voice, a singing voice, but you might also have a great speaking voice. You might have a really wide vocabulary as well, and you really know how to bring things to life. Fertility. Yeah, you're a very creative person. You really like have a lot of projects on the go. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you were an artist. You might also be a parent, or you give off that kind of vibe. There's, again, with the fertility, going back to what I was saying with the mushrooms, like you inspire other people. You're a muse. Like when people are around you, there's like this Edie Sedgwick vibe to you, is the sense that I get. For those of you who don't know who Edie is, she was one of Andy Warhol's muses, and from my perspective, I think she was neurodivergent, but that's neither here nor there. She was a fashion icon. She was a burst of, vibrant light. She was a dancer. She was just doing and experiencing things on her terms. And a lot of people were inspired by her. So you're bringing that kind of fertility, that kind of energy, and people are getting a burst of creativity as a result of that, you actually might feel like you've missed out. There's a strong sense of like, sure, people show up and they take from me, but then they leave and they get all of the rewards. Your higher self. You're very embodied with your higher self. There isn't a lot of pretense with you. You don't necessarily wear a mask. You are really raw and honest. So you are the type of person that at times you might have felt like you shared too much, that you didn't edit yourself. You just were like, you met someone and you felt comfortable and the vibe was right and you just sort of shared everything, like you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're just very open. People feel like they are in the presence of someone special. It's so weird because the sense that I get is that they know that you are so special, but they also get the sense that you're naive. This, again, feels very neurodivergent, and they are getting totally the wrong vibes from you. Like, if you're spending a lot of time around people that maybe, this is true to you, you might want to start trying to practice patience as the relationship grows, or spending time with other neurodivergent people that will approach a relationship in the same way. And not all neurodivergent people are the same. It's like a wide spectrum. But I have to just share everything that comes forward. And there's this sense that I feel like people are inspired and love you, and they think that you're so incredible and amazing. And for some of you, you're so raw and authentic that people like manipulate you and use you, and it's not fair. The storyteller, viewpoints, control. You are someone who really knows how to tell a story, you are also someone, I think, who has great connection with your intuition and your sixth sense, and you're able to pull inspiration from all kinds of different places and turn it into something. Like, it's not you, even if you have no tools, you're going to be able to create something incredible. You're going to be able to make art, like making the shadow puppets on the wall. You might also really know how to turn tragedy into something beautiful and some meaning behind it. Like, I get the sense that you're familiar with your shadow, you have experienced sadness, but I don't think that everyone is privy to that. Some people feel like you just have this gift from God. Again, there's like this sense of, I wouldn't be surprised at all if a lot of you were actual artists or you had wanted to be. That might not actually be how you make money, but Van Gogh is coming forward. Van Gogh was so skilled and completely misunderstood, and really didn't make a name for himself, or wasn't seen as the true artist and visionary he was until after he passed. Now, that's not to say that that's how people view you. It's just that there's this sense of like, people don't really recognize your greatness until you're out of their life. And then you take all the magic with you. Now, that's the key, my friend. Remember what I am saying. You're the one that brings the magic. So you can stop fertilizing their gardens if you want, right? Like, if you start to recognize that, oh, wait a minute, I am the muse, which means that I can inspire myself and I can reap the rewards. I don't have to constantly be a character in someone else's play. I can be the master of ceremonies. Then all kinds of greatness is going to start to explode out of you, and it's going to bring material rewards. Silent shift, shed old skins for growth, silent power within, embrace transformation, change, and evolve. You've definitely gone through hard times. You've evolved and grown from them. This is strong Gemini energy. You are constantly changing. You look different. You might meet people on this street and they don't even recognize you. You might be someone who like is constantly changing your hair color, you're wearing different clothes, you are, getting really interested in CrossFit and all of a sudden you're like completely jacked, and like then you go traveling and your style completely changes and you come back and you're really tan and you're wearing your hair different and like you're listening to different music and you're talking about all of this different art, like you just feel vibrant and full of life and full of stories and you're very interesting. But like there's fairy type energy, like a pixie, like you're just moving from one thing to the next to the next to the next, and people really struggle to keep up with you. 666, reflect, love, affection, compassion, kindness, attention, self-love. Several unexpected developments will enter your life and impact how you feel. This is a chance to reevaluate your identity. You need a mental shift towards greater optimism, self-assurance, and trust. Put your faith in your gut and inner voice, pay attention to your feelings, and use them to help you become a better person. This is the energy that you bring into people's life. You might have Lilith in the first house. There is this sense that you really force people to reflect. You might trigger their shadow, and that might be overwhelming for some people. You really trust your gut. You're constantly reinventing yourself. You have faith that whatever you are instinctually drawn towards is going to be right for you in that moment. Now, you might have had a tendency to allow your instincts to guide you down pathways that were not beneficial to you. You might have been easily sort of like, there's a sense of having your head turned or having people sort of catch your attention, or you being sort of lured away from stability with the promise of excitement or adventure or creativity. So you might have found yourself unexpectedly in situations with people you couldn't trust, or you might have found that you walked away from relationships that could have given you that solid foundation because someone, like, you were just so attracted to them. You were just so, like, lured in by them. And you might have done things that you regret now, that you feel, like, even shame around. Hope. You give people a lot of hope. So this transforming energy that you have, you're really inspiring people, and obviously you're helping them to see life from a different perspective. You're bringing a lot of color and variety. You're pollinating ideas for them. You are also potentially helping them to feel like they could do the same thing as you. So this might even be having an audience you're not even aware of, younger people watching you. Maybe you're on social media and people are watching you. There is this sense, though, for some of you, that you're going to have some sort of legacy, that this is a situation, like I mentioned, with like Edie Sedgwick or Nancy Spungen or, many other people that we kind of look back on and we're like, oh, wait a minute, I actually misread this person, or I didn't see their importance in you have a legacy after you're gone, like Van Gogh. And that doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in your life, right? You can be successful in your life and have a wonderful creative output and a legacy there, and then all of a sudden it's like you change the entire world because things are finally ready. Like Tesla is an example of that, the inventor, not the company. Where people now look back on his legacy and they think, whoa, he was like really at the focal point of this major transformational transformative shift when it came to like thinking about energy and even the universe. And he died penniless. I am not saying that's going to happen to you. That's not the vibe I get from you at all. But I'm just saying none of these people were recognized for who they were in the moment. And that's what happens with people. They don't recognize how incredible and important you are until you're gone out of their life. Or like I said, you might have a legacy. Depression. Okay, here it is. There's the energy that I kept picking up on. You have this beautiful, vibrant energy, but your ability to connect with people and to have that creative output comes from being able to walk in their shoes, comes from knowing what true sadness is. Like you might have had, like I said before, you might be neurodivergent. You might have had other mental health struggles. You might have physical disabilities. You might have had extreme loss in your life. You might have experienced poverty. You might have experienced a lot of prejudice or racism. And it's caused you to really understand what darkness and sadness is. But you are transforming that. Some of you haven't fully grasped that yet, but it's your superpower. Look at where Lilith is in your chart. I'm hearing Lilith again. Oh, here's more of this energy. Bad habits, drugs, addictions, toxicities. There has been times in your life where you allowed this sad energy, this lower vibrational energy, to take you down pathways where you found coping strategies that were not beneficial to you. It could mean that you unfortunately had a relationship with an addiction and you are working through that, overcoming that, or you have overcome that. That might even be one of the things that helps you to inspire other people. You went through rehab and you worked the programs and now you're a sponsor to someone else, or you're a coach and you're helping other people to go through it, or you're sharing your story online, or it's embodied in your artwork or your creative output. Like, I don't want to say that all of you are like traditional artists. You have creative output though, like, and it's part of your purpose. Transformation, yeah. Change is coming for a brand new you. Embrace the transformation and enjoy the process. Sometimes change is uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Yeah, you really understand that. And the process that a butterfly goes through from, being a caterpillar and becoming the butterfly is difficult. There's many stages where they have to be vulnerable and they have to completely lose themselves until finally they are strong enough to be able to fly and then pollinate, right? Butterflies are pollinators. So you're going to go through extreme highs and lows until you find your power, and then you're going to be an inspiration to other people. It could mean that you're literally around people. I get the sense that you're people, like you are a people person is what I meant to say. And you like people, right? Like you like being around big groups of people. That doesn't mean that every day you want to be like that. You might need time to withdraw and recharge. That's totally okay. The power is you validating yourself, knowing how important and special and talented you are. That's what's going to help you to come through some of this energy, and then to really start pouring your resources into, creating this. I keep hearing mental shift. So once you make this mental shift, then the way that it will manifest in reality will start to happen. Unfulfilled. You might be emotionally attached to a job that no longer serves you. Reflect on your wants and needs and consider making a change. You're unhappy with your income but afraid to make changes. So people see you as someone who at times is unfulfilled. You're definitely not meant to be in some sort of rigid 9-to-5 traditional job. Like some of us, I include myself in this bracket, some of us have to diversify our income, right? Like you might be able to do something that's creative as your full-time work, but you might have to do a traditional job, and that is literally just to make ends meet. And then on your evenings and on the weekends, you are invested in that passion project. There's this sense of you having to go through like a hero's journey where there's lots of closed doors, lots of failure, lots of sadness and heartache. And then all of a sudden there's the major breakthrough. You might have to sort of look at your life and see, okay, what is the most important thing to me? Not what is the most important thing to others. One of the things you're struggling with that you'll have to overcome is trusting the right people and also trusting in yourself. Divorcing yourself from wanting other people's approval, knowing that, you and your authentic self is enough, but also not giving away too much of yourself because people will like draw that energy from you. It's like you're this battery. That's the sense that I get. Like you might have had people that are sort of narcissistic or like energy vampire types around you, but I think that you're gonna leave unfulfilling circumstances, and that will be an inspiration to other people. Freedom, yes, exactly. You're gonna like move away from what is unfulfilling to you, and I think that there's gonna be more opportunities as time goes by. That major shifts are happening right now in the world, new opportunities for business and financial breakthroughs are opening up, and I think people are going to value the arts in a different way than they did before, but there is a sense of you being able to be free. Lust, not love. People are definitely attracted to you, like in a real sensual way. It says passion isn't the same as lasting love. Don't get sucked in just by good sex. So they want you, they find you really desirable, you're really sexy. I think it's more than just physical. It's your energy. Like it's like there's a love potion or something. Like they're completely drawn into you and they just want to be close to you. People might want to get physical with you really, really early. And you might also be one of those people that you don't even realize how people are perceiving you at times. Like they think every smile, every joke that you tell is like you flirting. Like they're really misreading the signs. Like you're just a joyful person. It doesn't mean that you want them, but they don't necessarily see it that way. You might find that you feel like people don't take you seriously and they never want anything deeper. Like they use you as a resource at times, or they want you to just be the muse. Like you never get to be like a fully fleshed out person. And love potion. Oh my God, that's wild. Love potion, open your heart to truly feel the magic of love. Yeah, like they feel intoxicated by you. They feel like once they've met you, like they can't get you out of their mind. And they might not like pursue things. There's this sense of like a lot of people feeling like they can't keep up with you. Like you're too much for them. Like, and they might make you feel bad about that. You are just so full of life. And I don't think that they have a lot to offer when it comes to that. They definitely can't match your energy. You need to be with another battery, right? And then I just heard supernova. Like the two of you will like continuously feed each other. If you could be with someone else that was like as inspirational as you. But then like you need to meet them at the right time so that, the two of you aren't drawing each other into any bad habits. You need to meet each other when you've already transformed. We are living two separate lives. Yes, some people might be drawn to you because you're so different and it feels exotic to them. Ugh, I hate that word. But they feel like you're so different and unique and like, wow, what would it be like to be with this person? It's like someone who works like is like a finance bro who wants to be with, you know, the lead singer of a punk band. Like, they're living two totally different lives, and it feels exciting and different and unique to the finance person, but they don't actually see it as something like long term. They just feel like this is like a fun adventure, and you might have been misled by people as a result of that. I have karmic debts that need to be paid before I can come back to you. So twofold. One, you actually might have also felt this way about people. There might have been good people that came into your life that were stable, that you just didn't feel like they really would like allow you to grow and thrive. You might have also just get easily bored by people. And you know, if they're not bringing anything to the table, it's like you're doing all of the work. Like, you don't want to be the only interesting person in the relationship. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I completely relate. And then this is twofold. Some people that you meet might have a lot of karmic debts that they have to work through, and you're like, no, I don't want to walk down that road with you. But also, you seem to have some of that energy where you have chosen a life on a spiritual level, right? You're not making conscious choices right now necessarily, but I personally believe in reincarnation, and I believe that we write our own story in terms of the kinds of lessons we want to learn over the course of our entire life, because this life is one chapter in the larger story of your soul. So you decided in this life that you were going to face a whole bunch of karmic debt all at once. So you end up in these kinds of sad situations so that you could sort of break the curse, break the chain, and move on to something else. And you will have lives where there isn't so much friction, this like tug of war, or this high-low energy. Okay, so I am going to get some more cards. What else would your guides like you to know about the vibe that you give off to people? Okay, so, well, 10 of Cups, like, that is beautiful. This is like a real fulfilled energy. There are people that will be in your life that are, the sense that I get is it's chosen family. I mean, it could be your literal family, where it's just like all your emotional needs are met. Like, you really give people this energy of like, they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel seen, they also feel like you have the right community around you, even if that's not your reality right now. This will be the case in the future, where you just are like completely fulfilled. Page of Pentacles. You're a perpetual student. You're always thinking and learning and analyzing and wanting to understand the complexities of things, and like, why is something a certain way? Like, why do we do things that way? Or how can I make it better? Or like, if I plant this seed, what am I gonna receive as a result of this? It's interesting, and you're growing that skill. Like, Mercurial energy, Gemini energy for sure. And you're willing to put in the effort. One of the things that you're learning is to go slow, to just take your time with things. Really, choose what you want to invest your energy in. A younger version of yourself, which you might be embodying right now, would sort of be torn in a whole bunch of different directions, and you are learning over the course of your life that, yeah, there's a million different options for you. What do you think will be the most fulfilling to you right now? And you're gonna have to dedicate your energy to that. And then, 3 of Swords in reverse. You have you're healing your own wounds, right? Like there's trauma or pain or discomfort or something that happened in the past, likely connected to some of this energy down here, that you're healing. You've overcome things. You're going to use that as fuel for your creativity, but you're also helping to heal other people. There's this strong sense that the wisdom that you're sharing, maybe this is through your music, you know, like maybe the lyrics of your songs are really healing to people, or you're making like art in another way that is really like helping to free people. Let's get some more cards. What vibe do you give off? Okay. So the first card you got is acquisition. Yeah, people really think of you as a prize. You're acquiring. Like many of you might also be like really physically attractive. You've got great style. You run with the right circles, or people perceive that you have it all figured out when it comes to like beauty and how to like capture attention. You like beautiful things too. That doesn't mean that everything that you own is expensive, but I think that you would love it if it was. You gravitate towards people that also are interesting in some way. They have their own style. They have their own light. Vision. You're a visionary. You're seeing patterns that other people do not see. You also are able to like really read people's emotions. You see things that they don't necessarily want you to see. And if you can channel that into art, it can like draw an audience towards you that could make you a millionaire. Extremism. You've had a tendency at times to be drawn to people that wanted to control you. Your words might have hurt people. You might have said things that you didn't necessarily mean. You might have had trouble regulating your own emotions, and that might be something that you've worked towards. And there's this sense of your like something about like your connection with this darker energy, bringing in extreme circumstances that really shaped who you are and can be turned into something beautiful and powerful, but it definitely has created discomfort in your life. Drama. Yeah, it's created drama. And yeah, you just need to be really mindful of why people are the way that they are, and try and look for those red flags, right? Like some people might see you as the extreme. Some people might see you as part of the drama. You might love to sort of stir things up to a certain degree. Like you might like to gossip. You might like to sort of like poke the bear to a certain degree. That's people's perceptions, right? Like they might think that you're going to bring up topics that you shouldn't in polite company because you know it's going to start a fight. Money, religion, politics, those kinds of things. You might also be able to see things that people are trying to keep hidden, and you're going to be the friend that reveals to the group that someone's spouse has been cheating, you know, like that kind of thing. Or, you know, it could be emotion regulation stuff where like it's not that you are being like too intense with your emotions. That's just their perceptions of things. You're just being really passionate, and you're being, you know, there's a lot of like emotion behind your words because you really care, but they see that as just like drama. And you might also just feel things in a way that they don't. And like, that's totally okay. Channel that into your work, channel that into relationships with people that can match your energy, and you are going to have a blessed life. So that concludes your reading pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to know how this resonates for you. Let me know in the comments. And if any of you guys are interested in having a reading done, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can book a session with me. Please like, share, subscribe. I would love to have you guys on this journey with me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome. I am really excited to be working with you. I'm so glad that you're here for this reading, and welcome to all of the new viewers. So in today's reading, as I mentioned in the intro, I am going to be looking at what vibe you give off. So a lot of different messages are going to come forward. Some of these are going to click for you right away. Other things you might not agree with at all. That's totally normal. Those could be messages that are meant for someone else, so just disregard them. They could also be perceptions that are projected onto you. Sometimes people have certain ideas about us that really have nothing to do with who we really are, and it has a lot more to do with them. So just keep that in mind. And if you do want to have a reading where all of the messages are specifically meant for you, you can book a session with me at my website, odessamall.com. So you guys selected the amber bead as well as this white flower from my garden and the sticker love yourself. So these are the first messages that are coming forward. First of all, you are someone who is constantly in a state of bloom. You might also really inspire other people. There's this sense of you having very delicate energy. There's a sense of purity that's coming forward from the flower. I'm just going to put that there so it doesn't wilt on us. The amber is a crystal that is connected to the solar plexus chakra. So that's your center for personal empowerment. It can also be a healing and purifying crystal, a protective crystal. So, and it's also formed from tree sap over millions of years. This is formed. So you might be someone who provides a consistency to people. You are protective. And of course, tree sap is food, right? You know, you can turn tree sap into syrup, and the sugar is something that can sustain life. So there's a sense of you being able to nourish people, but it's a consistency. You're constantly there helping them to grow, possibly helping them to avoid obstacles, but there's a sense of like mothering energy that's coming from this particular crystal. It's not like you're just like rushing in, taking control and telling them exactly what they should do. You are patient with them. And you really love yourself. You embody the essence of self-love, and I think you promote that within your relationships, regardless of what they are. And this might be because you've gone through a process of looking within. You've gone within yourself. You have a relationship with your spiritual self. All of these stars make me think of having a connection with your ancestors. So you might know a lot about the struggles of your family, and you've made peace with that, or you've learned from your elders. There might be a cultural element that comes along with this sort of like inner knowledge. You might be a spiritual person, or you are a religious person. You might have also gone to therapy and you've done some of like the shadow work necessary. So let's get into the cards and see a little bit more about what vibe you give off to people. So Camel, trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. Yeah, like exactly. You really, you've been through famine periods. There's a sense of you being through hard times, having to like really scrounge for resources. Maybe you've come from poverty. Maybe you've gone through periods of time where you didn't have the things that you needed physically or emotionally or spiritually. And then you realized that, the things that you really needed to nourish your soul, you had within you. And you could go really long distances and not necessarily need all kinds of extra comforts. Like there's this sense of like people feeling like you are going on a journey. You're going on a pilgrimage. You might be someone who loves to travel. You might be someone who goes on a spiritual quest. Like you're going to go to the Holy Land. You're going to like go and work on a kibbutz. You're gonna like go to various landmarks. You're gonna go tree planting up north. You're going to like, you don't necessarily need to have like all the fancy stuff. You are really about the journey, and you really understand that it is about the journey. It's not just about the end destination. Inspiration. You're an inspiration for people. This is like the energy that I'm getting is like you would be like an overseas journalist, and you're like going and seeking out stories, and you might not be around people that you love all the time. You might be even in isolation at times. But you're bringing back all of this wisdom. You're inspiring people. There's been a transformation. They see you as someone that they should, you know, try and emulate. There's a sense of them really like, one, I think that people that raised you are very proud of you. There's a sense of like parental pride, and if it's not from your existing family, it's like your ancestral line. This feels very spiritual to me. But you have also inspired people to try things that maybe they wouldn't have tried otherwise. The Queen, determination and sacrifice. Yeah, you know that you have to work hard to achieve your goals. So you might have decided that you wanted to run a marathon, and you had never run or been athletic before in your entire life. And you're just like, I'm going to do it. I don't need to have like fancy shoes. I don't need any of this stuff. I'm just going to do it. I'm determined to complete this. It's not about whether I win or not. It's proving to myself that I could do it. It's going back to school when you've raised an entire family. It is changing careers after, you know, your industry. There's been sort of some like fallout, and maybe, you know, a company closed and you had to start all over, but you like met that obstacle with enthusiasm, and you just inspired people. Maybe you've brought healing and support to other people's lives where they really needed a shoulder to cry on, or they needed someone to just like show up with, you know, a home cooked meal. Chilling blend, expect surprises, try new quirky combinations, willing to shake things up, thrilling adventures. Yeah, like you are a person that I don't think really travels because you want to just relax. You might do some relaxing, but you seem like a person that is looking for adventures. You're looking to see and experience new things. You want to try and meet new people. You might even like to go on trips and travel and do things that are really strange to people. You might like to go on like disaster tourism, where you want to go to Chernobyl and see what it's like there. You want to go and maybe like go to haunted places, like a haunted hotel on your anniversary or on your honeymoon. That you're just like, you kind of like the spooky is what's coming forward. Okay, I know this isn't going to resonate for all of you, but there is this sense of there's someone out there, and you are sort of like a spooky couple. Like you see yourself as like Morticia and Gomez Adams, and you go out and like you love to go to haunted places or spooky weird stuff, and you like collect taxidermy, and like that's your vibe. But there's like this sense of like, you might even call your spouse Gomez or Morticia. Like there's that strong energy coming forward. If whoever you are that's resonating with, can you please comment in the comments section? And it's just strongly coming forward, and I'd love to connect with you. Okay, so the next card is 777, good luck, contentment, prosperity, abundance, spiritual awakening, divine intervention. This message is most likely to reach you during intense uncertainty. You'll come out winning from everything that may come your way. It's also a sign that you have much life experience and wisdom to share, yet you'll need enthusiasm and effort to get this message to others. Yeah, like you've gone through like the highs and lows of life, and you are making lemonade out of lemons. You are, turning tragedy into success for yourself, and you're inspiring people as you do it. And you seem like an old soul. You seem like you've kind of been there, done that, and you really are able to like laugh at the absurdity of life, and you might have a dark sense of humor where you like laugh at things that other people might think as sort of tragic. But it's part of your coping strategy, and I do think that you've really come to terms with the fact that we live in a universe of duality, and the negative stuff that happens in our life is by design. We might not like it, but we learn a lot from it. And sometimes there's real poetry in the darkness, and you appreciate that. There's definitely people that are interested in the occult, like Annabelle is now coming forward. Some of you went to New Orleans and saw Annabelle, that haunted doll. There's stuff like that. Like you like the Warrens, and you're interested in like horror and gothic stuff. Okay, voice. Yeah, there's something about like the power of your voice. Like either you have a very like interesting voice, like you have a very deep voice, or you have a very soothing voice, or you have a beautiful singing voice. There's something about your voice that people really remember. It really resonates. You could be someone who like is part of a band, or you're on the radio, or you have a podcast, and you just like really, or the words, like the things that you're saying. Maybe you're a poet or a writer, or you're sharing your lived experiences with people. Tantric sex. Okay, wild. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word. I won't say it again. Okay, there is this sensuality that is just like electricity coming off of you. I do think that for many of you, you have like a strong partnership. You are with someone who like matches your vibe. Going back to that Morticia and Gomez Adams, like you're matching each other's energy, and it's electric. People might be very attracted to you, but there's this sense that some of them like truly can't handle you. In some cases, for many of you or some of you, you might have had people sort of objectify you, or they felt like they sort of projected their kink onto you. So like, you're a gothic girly, and they see you as this role as dominatrix in their life. Like that's just an example, but something like that, like, or even like they have some sort of like fetish, and you just seemingly by accident fit into that. You're not part of that. You just sort of fell into it, and that might be uncomfortable for you, because there's a sense of them not really seeing you. Like they're drawn to your like electric magnetism. There's like your pheromones, or there's something about you that they can't quite put their finger on, and they think you would be like wild in bed. You might very well be, but the people that I'm picking up on, I don't think you want to have anything to do with. But there is this in your life, whether you've already met this person or not, there is going to be that kind of divine counterpart energy where it's like explosive, sensual energy. Clout hungry, says anything, does anything, makes shit up, dramatic. So some people might see you as, sort of like bending the truth. Maybe you just want to be seen, you want attention. Maybe they think you're dramatic. Maybe, this has something to do with like the ghostly stuff I was talking about before. Maybe you're really into the occult and you have ghostly weird experiences and they're like, nope, that's not true. She's just making things up, or they are just making things up to get attention. I think that many of these people might not be comfortable with you just being like loud and proud and out there and different and unique, and they're like thinking, oh, well, they just want all eyes on them, and they just don't like the freaky and the interesting and the weird, and like they just want everyone to be quiet as a mouse is what I'm getting. Like, no, you're just supposed to follow the rules. Traveler, that was coming through all the way. You're definitely a traveler, whether that is something that you have already done or whether that's something that you do in another way. Like maybe you don't physically travel, but you read a lot of books, or you're watching documentaries all the time. You're exposing yourself to different types of people, different types of food. Maybe you're like you're a foodie and you want to go and try every new restaurant that, is in your town. Or you meet someone from another place and you're like peppering them with so many questions. Like you're interested. And time traveler is coming forward. So you like the past. Some of you like historical fashion, or you're different and unique in that way as well. Like you maybe like swing dancing. Or you're doing something. Maybe this is like you're going to some of those like medieval Ren fair, or you're interested in going to those like the balls that they're having now. Like they have like a big masquerade ball at Versailles in France, or like the ones that they have, that are sort of, I think that they're touring. They have all these like interesting balls that people can go to. There's a sense of like you like really expanding what you're exposed to. Anyways, the card says there's an opportunity for you to travel for work or business. You might be attending a convention. Yes, conventions. That's the word I was thinking of. Or training that will enhance your skills. You might go to conventions, horror conventions, comic conventions, I don't know. Like you'll know, you go to them. And I think that for some of you, you might be working remote, or you're constantly traveling for work, or you're like in the military and you have to like move from location to location. Laborer, your hard work will pay off soon. Keep going. Careers in construction, maintenance, painting, or any type of labor work. Hard work is key. What lasts will never come easily. Yeah, you will put in the work. It's worth it. And some of you might actually be working in construction, or you're doing some sort of manual labor. You are in a trade of some kind. And like there's a sense of like being a craftsman too. Like some of you might be really skilled in something that has taken you like years, if not decades, to master. Like this is woodworking. This is, being a mechanic, really understanding how like the machinery of a car or a motorcycle works. Restoration. There's like this sense of like redecorating or reviving is the word that's coming for. Restoration of like old buildings, or possibly like old toys or old machines, like bringing them back from the dead is what's coming forward. Like, so maybe you're like taking an antique and you're repurposing it, or you're bringing it back to life, and you're like, I don't know, some of you are also learning skills from the past. Like you're doing things that people just don't do anymore. Like there's those, I think they're called tin types, those photographs where they do it on a tin plate, which was like one of the first forms of photography. That again is an example. Like you could be crocheting, you could be learning lace making, you could be learning how to bake using like traditional techniques, you could be learning how to dye clothing using, you know, traditional means. So like it's all like non-synthetic dyes. You could be learning how to weave. You could be learning how to grow your own vegetables. You could be learning how, I've been watching way too many TikToks of people knitting these incredible sweaters and like watching them just block these sweaters. Oh my God, I'm so into that kind of stuff. And I really feel like we're heading into a renaissance of that. Like all of the cheap machinery made stuff is just like not gonna have the same value. It's all gonna be about like handmade craftsmanship, and you're part of that. Like maybe you're an electrician and you've had to like learn over many years how to like really be safe about things. But or maybe you're like learning how to I don't know, like there's all kinds of different things that are coming to me, like restoring old Victorian homes, learning how to do thatch roofs, learning how to do slate roofs, learning how to like refinish hardwood floors, like all kinds of cool stuff like that. Okay, this says innocence. So people perceive you as being innocent. Interesting. Maybe you're just very optimistic and you try and see the best out of a situation. Hiding feelings. You need to express how you feel to the one you love to see how they feel in return. You might have been sort of oblivious to people's feelings, like they like you and you didn't even know. You just thought you were friends. And they don't really know how to like get you to like open up, or you are just sort of skeptical of some people. You're hiding your feelings from them because you don't know how they're going to respond in return. They feel like to a certain degree you're not being completely open with them. Beloved wisdom. Love is a choice you make every day, so choose wisely. You have a lot of wisdom, and this again is another card that's making me think that you're connecting with a divine counterpart, because a divine counterpart is a partner that is equally healed to you. That is truly that Morticia Gomez Adams energy. We're like, they're different, they're unique, they have their own lives, they're doing their own things, they bring different things to the table, they're like allowed to be their weird and quirky selves. They always support each other and they help each other to grow within, you know, their natural expression. You are making a choice on a daily basis to show and to share love with the people that are important to you. And you're a real inspiration for people in that regard. I cannot be vulnerable with you. I'd rather hide in the darkness before I let you see inside me. Oh, wild. Okay, so there's something about you making people feel too vulnerable. Like they feel like they can't really show themselves to you. It's like you are comfortable with the darkness. You see the darkness and it doesn't scare you and it really frightens them. They're afraid that if they open up, then they'll be corrupted. I don't know. Like this example is not going to relate to all of you, but I try and do the best based on the channeled messages that I get. But it's like if you're really gothic, really like devoutly Christian people might think that there's something like unwholesome and wrong about the way that you live, and you're triggering something in them and they just want to shut you down. They want you to stop. Start following the rules. Go to church. Take that ring out of your nose. Like, why is your hair blue? Like all of those kinds of things. And they don't like that. But you've also had experiences with partners in the past that don't feel comfortable really being open and vulnerable with them. You might have had some like twin flame karmic energy in the past before you meet this divine counterpart. You might have also been a little closed off. There's this Scorpio energy coming from you. So you see all, and at times I think maybe you didn't want anyone to be able to see inside you. This connection bores me to death. I need something more exciting. People think that you're bored by them, and you will like just, I don't know. There's a sense of like, sometimes people are twisting the circumstances. You are a slow burn is the sense that I get. You're a slow burn, and you want to slowly cultivate a really balanced friendship. So when you don't necessarily match their intense energy right from the beginning, they think that you think they are boring and that you don't want to be friends. Then they judge you and they see you like they close down, right? They shut down and they might withdraw. But that's not the case at all. You're just protective of your energy and you don't want to let people in that might take advantage of you. Now, the flip side of that is at times for some of you, you might actually be bored by people because they don't want to go deep. They don't want to talk about real issues. They don't want to look within. They're not exploring their worlds. They're just closed-minded. There's a sense of like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with staying in your hometown and hanging out with all of the people that you knew growing up. But is it challenging you? Is it pushing you out of your comfort zone? Are you going to grow from that? And you might have felt like this isn't right for me. I'm bored to death in this town. I need to like move on. Stuck energy. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck. You want to be a rolling stone. A rolling stone gathers no moss. You want to be able to just keep moving. But other people might actually have felt like some of the things that you've done or said or the insights actually caused them to be stuck. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that they might have expected certain outcomes from you and you decided that no, staying in my hometown and marrying my high school sweetheart wasn't right for me, and they forced themselves to be stuck because they just were so hung up on this like one particular way of things working out in their future. Or they might have misread your words, or you said something that they needed to hear and they're just dwelling on it instead of taking it into consideration and changing things. In some cases, some people might also think that you're stuck. Like you're stuck because you're constantly shifting and changing and growing and you're moving around the world, and they only see growth or stability or success under one like label or through one lens. So an example, they think of success as getting married, settling down, owning a 4-bedroom house, having a job that you're at for like 20 years and hanging out with a group of friends equally as long. That's their form of success. And if you're like cycling through jobs, trying new things, going back to school, reinventing yourself, constantly moving, maybe you've been in different relationships and you're trying out all of these different things. Maybe you decide to get married, maybe you don't, maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. They see that as you being directionless, and that is totally not true. That's not true at all. You just have a different mission in your life. Like you've experienced so much. They might even be intimidated by that, and then they just choose to see it through this lens to make themselves feel better. Let's see some more. Okay, that card wanted to come out about what your guides want to say about how people perceive your vibe. How do people see pile number 3's vibe? Okay, some of you might be coming from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 1 Pile number 2, because some of these cards came out in pile number 2. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Magician. Let's put that there. You are a manifester. You're someone who's able to make things happen for yourself, get things started, maybe start projects without having a lot of resources. You're able to sort of like materialize things out of thin air. So, like I was saying before, if you're a creative person and you're able to like, or you work with wood, you work with wool, you work with metal, you're like able to like fix something or make something, and it's really impressive to people. Queen of Rods, you're exciting, you have a lot of energy, you're constantly moving, you're constantly growing. The Queen of Rods is like the witch of the tarot as well. So maybe you're a very mystical, creative, spiritual person. Maybe you're a healer. You know how to work with herbs. You work with the cycles of the moon. 10 of Rods. You're a person who works really, really hard. You are perceived as someone who can carry a heavy load. Maybe you will people perceive you as someone who will take on burdens for others, or someone who doesn't ever ask for help. Maybe a little bit stubborn. 8 of Rods. You're getting things moving right now. You're traveling. Again, you're a rolling stone. You are not going to be sticking around in a situation longer than it serves you. Like, if you don't want to be stuck, at least at this point in your life. Acquisition. You do like to acquire experience. Here again, there's that energy of like wanting to go to a ball, trying different things. You're going to these conventions, or like you're dressing up, or you like historical fashion. But I do think that you like beautiful, luxurious experiences. This is the first card that's come out that's made me think that some of you really do like those beautiful, pleasurable, material experiences, and you like luxury, and you like beauty, and you want to be around beautiful people. But it's interesting because this card did come out in pile number 2, which was more of that kind of energy. This really does feel more like, yeah, you'd like to dress up like you were part of Marie Antoinette's court and go to Versailles. Oh God, me too, invite me. Ace of Rods, yeah, you're like, I'm starting fresh. You're a yes person. If people are inviting you out to something, yes, I'm there, I'm doing it. You might have been disappointed by people in the past where like, they invite you to things and you go and like no one else is there, or they're not taking it as seriously. Like they invite you to a costume party and you're the only one that shows up. Yeah, that's the wrong crowd for you then, for sure. But you are starting things fresh, starting things new. You're constantly like being gifted with like brighter horizons. Domination. People might find you to be a little intense. You might have strong opinions about certain things, especially like spirituality, like feeling like you know the direction that things are going in. And some people might feel like they're outmatched is the word that's coming forward. Like you know too much, and like they felt like they were the smartest person in the room, and then you came in and you just shared like basic knowledge and they felt like you schooled them. That might make them feel very uncomfortable. Control. You, I think, have a strong control over your life, and you have a strong connection with spirit. You know the direction of your life and the cycles. You're comfortable with those like highs and lows. You're not going to lose yourself emotionally because of those things. But other people might feel like you need too much control. There might be a desire to sort of, at certain points in your life, this might be something that you slowly sort of like mellow out, but there's a sense of like having strong leadership qualities, knowing exactly what needs to be done to make things successful. Sometimes people might not want to see you in a leadership role and they don't like that necessarily, but they also think that you take control of your life and you're ready to like try it all. You're going to try it all and see what works out. You're ready to transform yourself. And again, this strong traveling energy and drama. You have those leadership qualities like Leo coming forward. And some people don't like that. They're uncomfortable with it. They feel like you're bringing drama and unnecessary stress. Why are you challenging me on this? Why are you asking me why I voted that way? Why are you asking me why I feel this way about the neighbors or whatever else? Like, they just want to be stuck in their biases. They don't want to be challenged by anything. And they like the fact that in their little circle, they get to like watch their little documentary or listen to their news program, and they bring that insight. And it's like, I think that you probably really challenge some of the like adults. I mean, you are an adult, but I mean the people that see themselves as like the leaders, like your parents or your grandparents or your bosses, and they don't like that at all. But that's their problem. The real, mastery of this energy will be to just not sweat the small stuff and like just sort of like back down. It's not worth the fight, honestly. You're never going to be able to convince these people to look at things in a different light. They haven't been exposed, and they're just gonna like yuck your yum. So just let it go. So that concludes your reading, my friend. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts on this if you feel like sharing in the comments. And for the Morticia Gomez people out there, if you're interested in conventions, all of that stuff, definitely let me know. I'm really curious about that. And if any of you are interested in having a personal one-on-one reading, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and book something with me there. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful day or night. I am sending you so much love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care.